everyone, and welcome to the special Lords live edition of the Pine Sports podcast. We're here at Lords, which is why we're all leaning on the slope slightly. No, just a little bit of trickery there. We're actually not at Lords. We got yous. As we speak, it's about 8:30, so it's half an hour into the first session of the second test at Lords. The camera's up here. If we're looking down there, it's because we've got it on live. So this might be a bit of an interesting one, fellas.
None for 12.
Yes.
None for 12, yes.
Dominating.
We've lost the toss, but we're fighting well. It's a good start.
Well, we were saying before, if we kind of get through that first hour
Yep.
without a wicket or, Warner being the walking wicket of late, we'd be pretty happy with one or not many down. So, yeah, like I said, lost the toss, but we're in a good position early.
We are. Well, so far so good.
Well, we're in a good position early, particularly because we're one up in the series.
Yes.
And what a win that was.
What a test match it was.
So
good.
So we haven't really spoken about that as a group, I suppose. What was our kind of watching experience of that live? We've spoken about getting through the first session is difficult, but anyone managed to catch the end?
It's funny, I didn't watch the end, but I woke up that night about 4 times, and then I woke up with literally 2 balls on crick buzz to go, and I was like, oh man, I should go out and turn the TV on, and then bang, it was over. I went back to sleep. But then I woke up and obviously watched the highlights straight away. But where do you rank that test? Out of all the tests?
It's got to be well up there for the first test match of an Ashes series.
From an Australian point of view, as far as in my line of thinking, I think obviously Amazing Adelaide was special for a different reason. It was that coming back to win from a different position. But this was, for the pure drama of, the match situation kind of dictated. It was wonderful. I go back to those tests just earlier this year with England and New Zealand, which I think were better finishes than that from a neutral point of view. But yeah, from an Australian point of view, that was something special. I woke up at about 4 o'clock. I'd fallen asleep on the couch, and I just happened to go grab my phone, and the mate's like, "Are you watching this?" And I turned it on with 5 runs to get. So,
wow.
So I got to watch the
best
moment kind of thing, and I was awake like that.
Yeah.
When you tuned in and went, "Wow, that was something special."
It was a good film. I mean, to have Bazball versus traditional, and all the heckle and lead up. I mean, you couldn't get better. And then for the series to be so contrasting already from a dry road.
Yep.
To a green top tonight.
But that match just had everything.
It did. It really did. Yeah.
The style of play is one thing. Some of those shots that Root was hitting were just magnificent to watch. You had to take your hat off to them. But the ebbs and the flows of it were just something special. And it's that old adage of who's winning. You make your own summation in your mind, but so many different times you'd go, we're on top, they're on top.
Yeah. The test was very different conditions, etc., but it reminded me of that test that India won against us at the Gabba a few years back. Every day, literally someone else was on top of the contest.
Yeah. And going into the last day in that test, you would have said Australia is on top. Going into the last day of this, you probably thought... I don't think there was someone on top coming into that last day necessarily.
I mean, it was England's to win.
Yeah, absolutely. History says England wins that.
Yeah, unlucky. But, I've also, my son, I had to get his name changed. So I got it changed from Ollie to Patrick.
Very
this
nice.
week, so please don't call him Ollie anymore.
Okay, I won't. No. And Ezra's changed to...
No, Ezra's okay.
He's okay. Right? Yeah, okay. We'll see who does well in this test. I'm going to change my son's name to Josh Tung.
Well, I've been trying to get our next name Usman, but I'm not winning the argument.
Yeah. Wow.
The name Ollie's been tarnished forever after that test.
Actually, I didn't pick up on that.
I know. I understood it. That's why I had to.
Yeah. That's good. I'm glad you clarified that for us. Well. Sorry, not your son, but Ollie Robson. What a flog.
Oh, man. I mean, once again, this is just something with the way I grew up with cricket. My dad was a very good cricketer, but he was so against heckling. And as the decades have come on, and even when McGrath, etc., started, Warney and that, started to, really pepper batsmen into submission almost sometimes, he just couldn't stand that. And it was something I never really ever had in my game, unless someone cheated, then I'd give it to him. But for people like Ollie Robinson to do this, it really worries me because I see these young kids come through and they're in Div 3, Div 2, and they think it's the thing to do.
Yeah.
Let's abuse batsmen because that's what the cricketers on TV do, and I think he just went too far.
I agree with you, Holsh. I just don't think there's any need in the game at all.
At all?
At all. Well, I mean, look, do what you got to do, but it's just not for me personally.
Yeah.
And that includes the Australian teams that were like that in the past. I mean, they're still some of my favourite players, but I hated the way they played at times.
I loved it. The theatre.
right,
I like
that's
the
fair.
theatre, the drama that kind of brings.
It's not me personally.
The difference is someone like Ollie Robinson, who's not, he hasn't earned the right to do that yet. You know,
I think there's a difference, but I think there's a difference between a bit of banter and a fun versus personal and nasty. I don't know. I just don't think there's any need for that.
But did he actually cross a line in that regard? Because, you know, he gave Khawaja a serve and he didn't give him a serve in a personal attack or anything like that. He gave him a send-off.
I don't think that bothers Usman. I think he looks a bit silly when Usman's just peeled off a great 100.
Oh, yeah, God,
and he's got a,
I'm not doubting that, and I'm not
yeah.
defending, you know, I'm not defending his decision to do that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, well, inherently what he did wasn't that bad. He gave him a send-off. The match situation dictates that he looked more foolish than anything.
I think good on him for if that's what he wants to do. I think it's the double down in the press about
that's
it
the
as well.
issue that I've got with it.
Yeah.
Just leave it out there.
Yeah.
I don't see the point in that. And then to refer that it's okay because Australian teams used to do it in the past. Well, to me, that's not the justification for why he's done it.
And as if we didn't love punter already. The shutdown of Peterson.
KP.
Talking of all-time great flops.
All-time great 40s that Joe Root peeled off. Well, he's out now, mate.
He only got 40.
Yeah.
It's great how candid.
And it was a good 40 too, but he just brought it down to nothing.
But Ponting was right.
Yeah.
He made
these
a
guys
40.
thinking nothing. You know, they've got no ideas.
But if he makes 100, they win the game. That's the difference. So
Yeah. Or they don't declare and he makes 150 in the first inning.
When he was flying. Wow.
Oh, wouldn't it be good if someone picked him for most runs? Anyway, or Lyon, potentially, you know, hypothetically for the most wickets. The women's test. Also, anything else to touch on the men's test? Obviously, leading into this match, we got thoughts.
Just
Stark's
none
out
for 14.
Stark's in,
Boland's out. Yep, and
I think that's a mistake.
You know, it's funny. I actually think this was the team that would have been better on the flat wicket at Birmingham and then bowling in on this wicket. It's early.
It's a seaming wicket.
Yeah.
Boland, just put it on that spot, outside off, and if it moves a little bit off the seam, that's what he...
I thought that they would have kept the same side because of the wicket they were playing on and then play Stark in the next game. But, yeah, we'll see. Time will tell.
And the English team, obviously, Ali's out, and they've put the tongue in.
Yeah.
Not Alan Tongue. Josh Tongue. And I was saying to you fellas, Tongue, Root, Head, horniest test match of all time. The women's test match also wrapped up and a fair bit going on in that, wasn't there?
It was good.
I didn't get to catch a whole lot of it. Obviously, I watched the last little session there last night. Some big performances in there from both teams, wasn't there?
Well, I mean, a big first innings by Australia, but then England backed it up thanks to a double 100 by their opener, Tammy Beaumont, I think it was. But
I knew he'd know.
Ash Gardner, what a performance. 12
yeah.
wickets in the match, including 8 for in the second
We were talking about
innings.
this. She's bowling some spin. Is she spinning it or is she's...
Well, it was spinning towards the end of the
Offies
game.
or leggies?
Offies, yeah.
Offies.
Yeah, right. I said nothingies.
They were turning
I didn't
square.
think there was a lot of turn in there. I think a lot of the English players threw their wicket away as well. But
I think that's discrediting her a little bit. I think she bowled very well, particularly in the second innings. There was some... I mean, conditions were favourable for spin bowling as well. But, yeah, credit to her. She's won us the test match.
And an interesting way that the Ashes works for the women is the test match is worth 4 points.
The win is 4 points.
And then the one days are worth 2 points or something, and then T20s might be worth... I don't know if T20s are in it.
I think, and then I think you need to get a minimum of 8 points to win the Ashes.
Oh, yes, to take it off, So...
Or, sorry, it might be 8 points to retain, 9 to win or something like that.
Because the oddity is the test match is not really given enough weight in comparison to one days, but why can't they play a few more test matches?
Or a 3-test series or something like that.
Well, I thought that was a terrific test match.
Yes.
And why can't they at least make it a 3-test series? Like,
What I'd read is something saying, was it Alyssa Healy, who's now played as many test matches as Cameron Green, and she's been playing for 16 years or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, the women's game is fantastic. So it's
Absolutely,
it's unfortunate that they're not getting enough of that kind of cricket.
Some of Australia's greatest cricketers are in that side. I mean, Elise Perry, Meg Lanning, who's not playing at the moment, but Alyssa Healy has got to be up there as one of the best glovemen in Australia, or glove women, glove persons in Australia. She's very good behind the stump. So they're a good
that stumping
side.
was. You know, the stumping that looked like it wasn't a stumping. It's like, well, what are you checking this for?
And then to find out that she played the whole test match with 2 broken fingers as well. So that's pretty good.
There you go.
I mean, in women's sport, tennis is obviously one where the women are amazing to watch. But cricket, for a number of years already, I think they've proven that they're a spectacle sport that is worthy of being one of those upper echelon paid players.
Well, speaking of, and I'm just going to jump aside here of women's sports not getting enough coverage. You got the Women's Origin, which ended in a bit of a farce in the end. You know, they got 18,000 in Townsville here
on a Thursday night.
Play another one here in 3 weeks' time. You'll get. You know, you'll get 18 or 15. You know, it's going to be a decider. You'd fill that stadium in, and it's such a good game to watch as well. The women's game in rugby
league. Very disappointing that they lose the second game but win on countback.
It's a bit of a farce, even the way the game unfolded as well, because you know, New South Wales was down by 4. They kicked a penalty goal to get within 2 because it helps the aggregate. It doesn't. It makes the game.
They're not playing
pure.
for the win. They're not focused on just the match.
Yeah, they needed to win and win by so many.
So essentially, it's a 4-quarter match.
Yeah,
over a few weeks.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's just odd, and like I said, the fact that they got such a good crowd there, why aren't they putting on a third?
I reckon it'll change next year.
Yeah, I think so.
There's been a furore about this.
Yeah. I think they'll look at playing it at a different stage as well, so that they actually haven't started the women's competition yet. So it's almost been like a pre-season competition. I think that.
I also think the fact it's the night after Origin does kind of water it down a little bit as well, because you're up from you know, the main show. It's a bit of a hangover to Origin, where you
they should have it in separate weeks. It just seems odd.
Or even a separate stage of the year. Why not?
Well, particularly because, you know, it's midweek anyway. Like, you'll get eyes on the TV and people are keen for it. And anyway, that's a bit of a sidebar there. What are we, none for 18 or 18 for none? 18 wickets, Jesus Christ. Those bloody English. Going back to Europe, somewhere a little bit off centre, we've got the Tour de France coming up.
Starting this weekend.
The Tour of France, as Je ne parle français.
What does Tour de France mean again?
Tour of France, yes. Je ne parle français? Oui?
Oui, yes.
So, Chambry is a mad, keen cyclist.
I enjoy the cycling.
You like watching the cycling?
I do ride,
you ever
but
get
not
out on the two wheels?
Every day, but not very well.
Yep.
Yes.
You're staying upright?
Upright,
okay, you're doing all right.
And carrying a heavy frame up a hill or whatever.
I wish you might have to show my son Patrick how to do it, because he still can't ride his bike.
But no, the tour is great fun. Really looking forward to it, particularly with the Ashes on as well.
Yep.
It's going to be a good couple of weeks.
You got 2 TVs, 2 screens?
What
about Wimbledon when that's...
Nah, it might make a little appearance here and there in between the test matches. Yeah.
And so is it true that you set the bike up in front of the Tour de France and mimic the thing?
And watch the highlights? Yes, that's correct.
Is it also true, and I'm not going to mention who told me this, but when the Ashes is on, you usually dress up in whites and shadow bat
with a helmet on
and replicate every shot. Is this true?
Only the ones that Usman plays.
Okay.
He's a khaki hander, so it makes sense. Disrespectful water.
So the Tour de France. Don't profess to know much about it. I listened to a fantastic podcast, rival podcast of ours, Sports Bazaar. They've got a fantastic series on the Tour de France, of the history of from day dot all the way up to current.
Rain delay. Sorry to interrupt, mate.
You're singing a Hot Chip song there. It's time delay. Great podcast about the history of the Tour de France. I'd recommend giving that a listen after you've re-listened to all of our episodes once more. Tell us a little bit about the Tour de France?
Okay, well, it's a race that's held over 21 days. They have, I think it's over 23 days. Sorry, with 2 rest days in between. So basically a week of racing and then a rest day.
How many kilometres?
I don't know off the top of my head, but it would be in the order of 6,000 or 7,000 kilometres.
Oh, I've got 3,500.
Okay, well maybe then let's go 3,500.
225 k's a day.
There you go. That's a lot more accurate.
Yeah.
I was way off.
Okay.
Whatever it is, it's a feat of superhuman strength, because if they're riding those sorts of distances every day, it's pretty amazing that the recovery what they have put themselves through, and then to back up and do it again every day. I mean, that's 6 to 8 to 10 hours on the bike, and then
I'd be tired driving that far in a car every day, I reckon. Like 2.5 hours a day in a car.
The best part about it is there's so many races within the race. So there's obviously that it's teams. There's 20 teams. I think it's about 8 riders each team, and they're obviously all aiming for different things. So there's a number of teams that are going for the yellow jersey, the overall winner.
Yep.
But
they're still individuals within the team, right?
Yeah. So each team has their main
Superstar,
rider.
yeah.
Most of them have a general classification rider, which is the yellow jersey.
Okay.
But some teams are more targeted around the sprint stages, which is the sprint jersey is the green one.
Yep.
Some are around the climbing stages and so on. But yeah, so most of them have a overall leader, and then the rest of the team is effectively there to help them achieve those goals. Yeah. So number of different stages spread across a lot of flat stages to some of the ones towards the end of which are just brutal, up 10 kilometres
up
of
the Alps or
up into the Alps.
So how many of the days out of the 21 days would be dedicated to sprint?
I
think it was about 7 or something.
It's roughly half are flat stages. Then there's some maybe it's a third actually. Flat stages. Then you've got some intermediate stages.
Let me just do
and then you're probably
7.
looking at 7 that are high category climb stages.
So the green jersey is basically determined well before the Tour de France is over.
No, points are accumulated throughout. So obviously the rider that passes the finish line first, they get points for the green jersey on flat stages, or if it's on a hill, it'll be climbing points, King of the Mountain, the polka dot jersey. Okay. But the flat stages are typically a big bunch sprint, so the peloton, as they call it, all the riders are together, and then you see the big sprint at the end. Quite often you'll see breakaway groups that try and sort of split up the peloton.
Are they just trying to disrupt the pace
basically,
of the race?
So they're trying to, it's all tactical, basically. But a lot of the flat stages are about protecting your main riders, make sure they don't lose time, and then when it matters up in the hills, that's where they do their work.
Is that where the best riders excel, up in the hills? Yeah. Okay.
So the best riders are the climbers, but they're the ones that can also be competitive in your time trials and your flat stages as well. So that's why they're all of nothing to them, but they're powerful as well. Yeah. So it's essentially, barring major crash or injury, it's essentially a race that's going to come down to 2 main riders. So
I've picked them. I'm certain of it.
that are fighting for the yellow jersey. So last year's winner is Jonas Vingegaard, and the winner from the previous 2 years is Tadej Pogačar. Now,
I don't have either of them.
Vingegaard is part of probably what's considered the strongest team. He's part of the Jumbo-Visma team. I think it's a Belgian or a Dutch team.
And they have the green jersey winner from last year as well.
They have the green jersey as well, Wout van Aert. But he has stated that he's not there to chase backing up and trying to win the green jersey. Again, it's all about getting Vingegaard across as the yellow jersey, which I'm not necessarily sure that's the case.
I think he stated something about there's a particular World Championships at the end of the year,
coming up later this
what
year.
His goal is to win in the sprint stakes.
But he also strikes me as an athlete that come the finish line, he's not going to be putting those sorts of goals ahead of trying to win.
Yeah.
As the race progresses, how far out from the end is generally the winner known? Is it usually a tight run thing?
It can be anywhere from a long way out to the second last stage.
If you dominate those early stages.
So traditionally, the last stage, which is the ride into Paris, overall classification doesn't change. So if you're winning on the second last day, you've won the yellow jersey.
Okay.
The green jersey.
It's ceremonial.
It is. That's right. So that's when they ride in. They all drink their champagne on the bikes.
Have they ever had an arsehole that just went, no, fuck it, I'm just gonna.
We got the champagne.
I don't know. Was there anything like? I haven't listened to the Sports Bazaar podcast. Was there
not
anything
about
like
not
that?
about that, but
Okay.
a lot about drinking brandy.
Right.
Brandy was a big theme, and they do lots of drugs and stuff.
Obviously,
along the way,
what
but,
tarnished?
not necessarily performance enhancing. Back then, it was just all kinds of drugs.
Now it's performance enhancing.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore.
Well, what they said was that the actual ability to ride that amount of distance every day is just so outside the realms of what a human should be able to do, which is where a lot of that performance-enhancing drugs came into it.
And that's what's tarnished the sport. And I do think it's clean now, but it was for a long time. It wasn't about who was cheating. It was about you had to be competitive, and they all were. And that's probably disappointing. The likes of the Lance Armstrong eras are wiped out.
Now, I haven't followed his career much after he won all those. He's a
What's
hero.
happened to him?
He's a great guy, isn't he? He won all those Tour de France's.
Who, Lance?
Yeah.
Well, not officially.
I just followed up to the end of his career.
I read both of his autobiographies, and they were two of the most inspiring books I had ever read.
Yeah.
And when the news came through, I was so devastated.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, man, autobiography. These are the only ones you need to read, these two.
It's gospel.
And now it's like, it really hits me.
Well, has there ever been anyone who's got so far, like, Tiger Woods, he dominated, he was the best. His fall from grace kind of goes, bloop.
Yeah.
Whereas Lance Armstrong goes
gone.
from all the way back down to the very bottom,
That's right,
doesn't
yeah.
it? So.
But no, it's the experts are talking about this tour is a bit of a climbing focused tour, so there's more climbing in it than normal. So that probably separates the general classification riders from some of the heavier sprinters, I suppose, which makes it difficult for the sprinters, the winners, the guys that are trying to win the green jersey. So in the hill stages, they still have to complete a stage in a certain time, otherwise they actually get disqualified out of the race. So their big goal in the big hill stages is just to get to the finish line by the cutoff. So that's
so you still got to be a multifaceted rider. You can't just be a sprinter.
So they change the course every year.
Every year, yeah.
But it's in the same region.
Oh well, I mean it's spread out across
in France.
So
it's the Tour of France.
But the hill stages are spread across the Alps and then the Pyrenees, which are two sides of the country, and that they do use a lot of similar sections of those hills every year. So there's obviously famous sections of hilly road that are used each year and so on. Not
it's
always.
Like Bathurst, they got people up there and they're lighting things on fire. And
it's a lot more controlled. I mean, but you have seen some of the craziness where the crowd's crammed in on and they're trying to ride through it and everyone's it looks a bit intense in some of that sort of stuff. But
is there any documentaries out there that are like really break down how the Tour de France works?
There would be. I don't know.
It's one everyone's always told me. It's a bit like your Formula One. Drive to Survive. I'd like to, like everyone tell, if you understood the Tour de France, you would really, you'd be taken so much by it. You would stay up and watch it. And I need to understand how this teamwork works.
You need it in a bite-sized way that you don't have to go.
I don't know about the documentaries. What gets me in, obviously it's hard to sit and watch 6 hours every night on that, but on SBS that covers it, they do an hour-long highlights package each day, and that's what I watch, and that's what keeps me. So you get to see enough of the tactics within the race, and then obviously the finish, which is the main part. So,
on your bike in your whites.
He's switching over.
I'm switching.
Take the spikes off. And
he's got both highlights
switching
going.
Between taking guard and helmet on. Leg stump, please, umpire.
We've got a tip on this, and we're tipping two components of it, which you've mentioned quite extensively, is the green jacket and the yellow jacket.
That's right.
So just to confirm, the yellow jacket is the overall winner of the race.
Yep.
The green jacket is the overall sprint winner.
Yes.
Next year, I think, in the competition, we should add King of the Mountain.
Okay.
And we should do an episode where
Peter Brock.
Green jersey, yellow jersey, polka dot jersey.
You think I'll be a polka dot?
Yeah, I think you're definitely the polka dot.
I think you're the climber out of us.
All All right. Well, considering we'll go with the most knowledgeable on this one starting. So, Holshi, who have you tipped for the Tour of France?
We haven't got to the ladder yet, but I'm basically going for 30 points every game. Every
extend your lead. Is that?
Yeah.
Extend your lead over 5 people below you.
So, which one are we doing first? The green.
We'll go green jacket.
Green.
Okay.
So for the green, I'm going Biniam Gourmet.
Okay.
He's East African from Eritrea.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And
not visited there recently.
this is his first ever Tour de France.
Wow.
Okay.
But high
I
expectations.
think he's going to make a bit of a splash.
Yeah.
Any idea of the odds of him winning this?
No, I haven't looked at that.
Okay.
I'd never look at sports bet. Unlike some people, I base it off knowledge.
And what have you based him off? His first year, or
mainly.
There's a lot of mountains in his region where he's from.
Yeah,
Or something,
look, I just got this gut feel.
Okay.
With him. And then for the yellow jersey, this guy I've just learned is one of the favourites.
You're not getting double points or triple points with this guy.
No, so is it Tadej
Pogacar?
Pogacar.
Yeah.
Pogacar.
Coming at ya. Very good. All right, well, I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to go, not the same tips, but I'm going to start with the yellow jacket for mine. I'm going with I don't know if he's French, but he sounds French, and that's what matters to me. Julian Alaphilippe.
Good choice.
He's good choice?
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
You didn't say good choice
No,
about mine.
did he? That was very...
I did about Tade.
Tade is $2.35 to win.
If Biniam Gourmet wins, then I think something has to be voted for these two.
I'll accept that.
Yeah, me too. I'll take that.
You guys think he's the pig man, don't you, of Tour de France?
I'm pretty sure that is the translation of pigman in Africa, in Eritrea or whatever it is. So I've gone with Julian Alaphilippe, and for the green jacket, I've gone with someone, when things are a bit dicey, you know who to call on. It's moments like these, you need Luis Minches.
Minties?
Yeah, Minties.
Okay.
Sounds like Luis Minties.
What other odds are your two?
He's South African. I don't know. I don't look at the odds. Alaphilippe, 151 to 1. Moments like this, 251 to 1. So I've gone for some outsiders.
Yeah.
But
and Matty said they were good.
Yeah.
All the first
well,
one.
literally, if you do look at the odds, there are 2 clear favourites, which we'll get to. This guy, you two are favourite pickers, unlike me. Tadej, he's very favourite. Jonas Fish and Chips and Vinegard, he's $1.92, and Pogacar $2.35. The third in the betting is $16. So they are 2 very clear favourites, and I think even from there, those in the hundreds are not too far down the list. So
for yellow jersey, then I'm picking Jonas Vingegaard, and
chips.
Simply because he's part of what I consider is the strongest team, the Jumbo Visma team.
You'll probably pick Djokovic
and guaranteed. I do like Tade, and I hope he goes well. But yeah, I'll back Vingegaard.
He likes Alaphilippe too.
Alaphilippe is known as a very combative rider, so he likes to break up the peloton, get out there, try and win stages.
That peloton.
He's always
the guy that ran onto Lords before and put a flare on the field.
I guarantee he won't win the yellow jersey, but still he's good to watch.
He's guaranteeing things. All right, so you've gone with Fish and Chips and Vinegard for...
Yep. And just can I throw in
the
there
yellow
quickly,
or for the green?
If any of our listeners are looking for something a little bit different from the 2 favourites,
we're listening.
There's a young Australian that's going for the general classification named Jai Hindley. Have a look at him.
I think he's the 16 to 1. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Is he? Okay,
Yeah,
well,
he's third
there you go. Then everyone else
the name
is
doesn't
seeing him as
appeal
well.
to me either.
And then for the green jersey, I'm going Mats Pedersen.
Okay.
He's the fave as well.
No, he's not. That's Jakob Philipsen.
What is... Say that again.
Mine's a little bit down
What's
the
his
list.
name?
Mine,
Yeah.
Mads Pedersen.
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 He's Pedersen.
Pedersen.
Son
Yeah,
of
let's
the
call him
Pedals.
Pedersen.
Yeah,
Okay.
He's a bit of an all-round rider, and I think he'll be a bit of a smoky.
What country is
Okay.
he from?
I don't know.
Okay. I did read about him before.
All right, well, that's great. We've got some tips in there for the Tour of France. So, very exciting times coming up for those of you who might be watching that. I will not be. What have we got here, Holsey? Holsey's pointing at something. Warner's in good touch.
Flogginson swept.
Oh.
Swept. I guess you can sweep some of the bowls at that pace.
Yeah. He didn't middle it entirely.
None for 25. Oh, you don't
But what are we? We're an hour in. We had a bit of a rain delay, but we are none for, which is nice going by the arsies. All right, so sticking over to, we're crossing back over the English Channel, back to England now. So we've gone from the Ashes to France. Now we're back in England. We're going to Wimbledon. We've got to put our tips in for that.
Triple down.
We might as well just save a bit of time there, yeah, Shembry?
Triple down.
Triple down.
Yes.
So who have you gone
So
with?
Novak
Yep.
and how do you pronounce her name? Iga.
Supermarket.
Let me just
Iga,
check
the
the odds on
supermarket,
those.
Swiatek.
Okay, I won't have to scroll far.
They got me 20
Both
points.
favourites.
They got me
Both
20
yeah.
points at the French Open, and I'm
Yep.
tripling down.
Right, okay. Not very adventurous at
Not at all.
I am going... You go yours, because I've forgotten my male one, which I didn't write down.
Okay. All right. Well, since he's tripling down, I'm going to double down with my losing bet.
Yes.
From last time. I'm going to go Yannick Sinner again. Grass is suited to him. I'm hoping everyone backs off him completely after his shithouse performance at the French Open, and I think he is still an up and comer.
Grass. What have you based that on? Grass suits him. Is this
The article I read said grass suits him.
okay.
So no, I'm gonna go Yannick Sinner, and then for the women, I'm gonna go Corey Goff.
Okay.
Yeah,
She's American?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Young.
All right, while we're sitting there thinking about it, I'm going to go with Daniel Medvedev.
That's
Hey.
Everyone's favourite guy.
Nice.
He's such a likeable personality, and that's why I've gone with him.
He just stays calm. Nothing
Yeah,
makes him
he's- and
agitated.
he's just one of the nice guys of tennis. He's got a real Pat Rafter vibe about him, you know, universally loved. I've stuck with anagram theory, even
Okay.
though thus far it has given me 3 points, I think. I've gone with Barbara Krejcikova, and that is because her name translates to barrack via joke, bro. So that's kind of what I'm doing. This is a bit of a joke, and I'm barracking via that joke. So,
And you're talking to us, bro.
bro, yeah, bros. Oh, there's an extra N in there as well. There is no N in her name, but somehow there's an extra N in there. Yeah, I've gone Barbara, Babs. Come on, bring it home for me. Right, so anything else to talk about? Wimbledon, tennis, it's all pretty same.
Can I just mention while we're here? So Mark Taylor's on the Ashes at the
Yes,
moment.
yes.
And Tick was saying that his voice is starting to really develop into the commentator voice.
It is. It's starting to
For
get
him.
that real uniqueness
You
about
know,
it.
like obviously he's never going to be a Richie Benno, but that's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Sort
yeah,
of
yeah.
starting to get that. Like I've never been a big Tubby Taylor commentator fan, but you know, I listening to him, I can sort of understand what you're saying.
Yes, yes.
So,
And we've got Andrew Strauss wearing a striking red jacket, standing out like one of these other English flogs. Geez, there's a lot of them, isn't there? Alrighty, so this is going to be tricky because we've got the Sports Whisperer results on the computer over here. Holsey's just going to go grab them and yell out. He gets close to the screen, bringing it over here.
I thought that was the house.
Oh, well,
Why do that to us?
yeah.
Watch this ball.
Okay, taking a pause here. Oh, you paused. He's
no.
literally taking a pause.
Oh no!
What have you done? Here we go. Oh, geez, it's all happening here.
Nothing.
Oh, here's
nothing.
a button. I'm going to press that.
Here we go.
Oh, sorry, cricket.
Here
I
we
thought
go.
it said
Watch
cricket.
this. Oh,
Not even close.
Okay.
All right, so the Sports Whisperer results. So we've had a lot of sports once again reach the conclusion, and it is also the end of the quarter, so we've got a winner for the quarter. So quickly, I'll just run through some of those results that have already passed since we've last spoken. We had the Super Rugby finish over the weekend. The Crusaders beat the Chiefs 25-20. We saw the coach do the breakdancing and all that cool stuff.
I've been meaning to look that up.
Pretty gnarly stuff. Really exciting.
That's his last year. Now he's taking over as the All Black
Blacks
coach.
coach.
right, 7 in a row. That's amazing, isn't
Incredible.
it? Beat the Chiefs, our Chiefs. In the French Open, the Joker once again beat Casper Rudd in 3, and the Supermarket defeated Carolina Muchova in 3. So points on offer there for a lot of people who picked those, 20 in particular for Shembry. The NBA, Holsey, the Nuggets.
Hey, and that's what's basically catapulted me back into contention.
Yes.
Is the Denver Nuggets.
Back off the spoon. Almost.
Yeah, no, I'm ahead of like a couple of people now.
But it's probably what has kept you away from the spoon. They beat the Heat 4-1. Unfortunately, my Panthers' golden run came to an end at the hand of the Golden Knights. They end up getting pretty badly tailed up in some of those matches, trying to chase points at the end there. So the scores don't necessarily reflect that. But the final series in that one was a pretty big chasm between the two teams. So I think there was about 10 people with the Golden Knights, 3 of us with the Panthers. 12 points. That's good. What a journey that was. I really enjoyed that. The US Open Golf came and went. Wyndham Clark.
Did anyone get Wyndham?
No one picked him.
Okay.
Right, okay.
No.
Second, Rory McIlroy.
What a choke, poor Rory.
Yes, 9 under. 3. What's that name there, Shembry? Who came third?
Scotty.
Who, sorry?
I can't pronounce it.
Oh, do you know how to pronounce that?
I'm not saying.
That's Scotty Scheffler. More points for me, and I get to say his name again. And our boy Cameron Smith with 6 under, he came 4th. So that's pretty much everything that's concluded recently that we haven't spoken about. Holsey, over to you with some updates on where people have landed.
Just to give it some perspective with where the points are at right now. So that is 21 events out of 54 complete.
Wow.
So we're not even halfway
Yep.
yet as far as completed events,
okay.
which shows like people, and there's so many people here that have really swung their seasons around in the last 2
And
months.
there's so many people on not many points as well at the bottom.
Yeah.
So
I'm
you're gonna have to
probably
take them.
the only one that's super consistent in this competition.
No large swings.
But firstly, I will just state who won this quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So we had 2 winners for the first quarter because of equal standing at that time. But 107 points for this quarter. 3 people actually got over 100 points for the quarter.
Wow, that's amazing.
Which is huge. And the winner to he's a bit of a cult hero.
Now, I was trying to think about this. Episode 1.
Yeah.
Was episode 1, he was roundly derided for some of the tips he put in, right?
We were like, what the who is this bloke? What is he thinking? He's winning the comp. And that just goes to show that some risk reward does pay off in the Sports Whisperer. So Luke Wildthing Albone, 107 points. James Nottingham, 102 points, and Samuel Neller, 101 points for the quarter. So they've all shot up the rankings, and that actually puts Luke Albone 1 point in front for the entire competition.
Wow. And we were looking at this. I think he might have missed points in about 2 events that whole quarter.
Yeah.
Like, he just accumulated some of those small points.
Yeah,
as
I think he
went,
had
but-
Miami Heat triple points, so he got 18 there for the NBA Finals, and just he's nailed down a few double pointers and so forth along the way that had just kept him there, and then he's had this little purple patch. Now,
are you looking up where we are?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I'm just looking at 107 and going, I don't think any of us are close to 107 points.
So I'll just quickly run through the top 10, just the update. So Luke Albone, Wildthing, 139. James Nottingham, 138. Carly Richardson, who was right up there at the beginning, then dropped off, has bounced back, 138. James Griffiths, 136. So
it's close.
The top 4 are 3 points apart from each other. Then we've got Brady Zeeth, who probably is the most consistent person this year. He's been top 10 almost the entire journey. Samuel Neller, Nathan Green, Mark Shelley, Ezra Holznagel, and Amanda Knight. And then I'll also say number 11, Robbie Passmore. I haven't seen him in the top 30 the whole comp, and he's shot up to number 11.
I also noticed a Shembry kind of close to the top. Did I notice that before?
Let me have a look here.
Or it might have been in the maybe in that round or something
It's
like that.
Karina Shembry.
Oh, yes.
34.
Okay. Hey, wow. She's on 100, so she's on 101.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if I was Maddie, I'd probably ask Karina before you come
idea.
on
Yes.
to
Maybe
the
we
show.
could get Karina on.
Yeah, someone that knows something about sport. Let's not base these points on if you know anything about sport.
I was just about to say what I just wrote down.
Karina can take my spot.
Wow, Holsh has got 134 points. That's amazing.
Okay, so I think, to be fair, Tick has had a pretty good run. He's up to 42nd now. He's
Nice.
98 points.
I think I was 65th last time. So that is a bit of a run.
Yeah.
98, nearly cracked the ton. You
Yep,
beauty.
yep. I'm in 59th place on 91 points.
Oh,
so
wow. So you're not
closing
far
the
behind.
gap.
Yeah,
closing the
And I
gap.
must be like around 60,
Yeah,
61.
you'd think so, yeah.
68 points, Holsh.
68 points,
Yes.
yeah.
Not 68th place.
So where does that put me?
134.
140 regular tippers, I'm told. So
Hey, it says 204. 200.
204 people have tipped. No,
So, but yeah, 21 of 54
Long-
events. So
long way to go yet.
Yeah,
Long
and
way to
we've
go.
got, obviously, in the next couple of weeks, we've got Wimbledon to wrap up. The Ashes will be well and truly into it.
And once again, a great time to get on board is right now because
Yeah.
the new quarter starts. So there's
A
not...
mate of mine only heard about last week, and he wants to be part of this next
Yeah.
quarter to win his pint glass.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can. You know, there's a lot of these events in here that are long-term picks. So, you know, the NRL, the AFL, all those kind of things. But, you know, well, there was a few points we were going to bank early. I think Corey Oates for the most tries was going to be in there. Herbie Farmworth needs to learn to pass. It's an outrage. He's on 0 at the moment. I think I might just throw that tip in the bin. Now, still none down, none for 27.
Nice.
None for
What have we
27.
got? Warner on 20. Jesus Christ. This kid can bat. How long will he play for Australia?
Oh.
No, going down leg. All right. Over the last two. Don't even need this button. Over the last podcast we did, we spoke about our origin. We spoke about the concept of the origin teams of. Jeez Christ, not even close. Origin teams of Queensland of players who had played less than 10 games. We put that out to a vote as well to see the positions that we had some contention with as to who thought which player was best. So we will reveal that team. Who wants to do the honours?
You can.
Me? Okay, I'd love to. Thank you for asking. All right, so we'll start with the fullback. So the options there was Carmichael Hunt and Matt Bowen.
Yep.
That was actually a landslide victory to Special K. So he had 87% of the vote there. Coming in on the wing, we had Lottie Takiri, who was already a lock. We had Israel Folau with 61% of the vote over Jaral Yao-Yi.
That was actually closer than I thought.
Yeah.
I thought that would have
I
been a
think
landslide.
I think Izzy was only not a lock because it was conjecture whether he was in the wing or in the centres.
Yeah.
And I think Tick voting 15 times as well.
Yeah.
Right,
Oh,
kept
no.
Yao-Yi in the contest.
Well, it does seem like I did vote 15 times because a lot of these players are my players. We had Willie Tonga, who was in the centres. He beat out Israel Folau, 69% of the vote there. Chris Close was already locked in for us. The halves, we had Paul Green and Scott Prince. So the only conjecture there was Paul Green over Michael Hagan, but he got 70% of the vote there. Artie Beetson was already in the team. He was probably the closest one, with Kerrod Walters pipping out Jason Hetherington with 52% of the vote. So
Wow.
that probably would have been a matter of one vote was the difference.
Yeah, pretty close.
What's that?
Oh, through the
Nick
slips.
through the slips.
What
Okay.
did it carry?
No, I don't think so.
Unlucky Popey boy. I didn't go to the boundary.
What was the thing we saw? The only thing that Johnny Bairstow didn't drop all series was the streaker. And
protest.
it's the only thing he should have dropped. So yeah, Kerrod Walters over Jason Hetherington. Very close run thing. Martin Lang won out in the props at 52%.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe it.
It was.
A sitter.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Have
here
a
we
look,
go.
have a look.
Just wait. See.
And that's brought. That's brought to
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's broad to Warner too.
He just dropped the ashes.
That's Bazball stuff. That's what you want. The crowds love drop catches. It's entertaining. I mean, we're loving it.
Broad loves it.
Yeah, if only you could pull that thing over his eyes. Second rowers, we had Ben Teo and Peter Ryan. I was actually surprised that Peter Ryan did get in. That was pretty... I know I picked him, but the field was quite competitive for the second rowers. Once again, a lot of them end up on the bench as well. Kevin Campion beating out David Stagg at 61% for the lock spot. Super sub on the bench, no surprise there. Matt Bowen.
As if anyone would pick him in the starting lineup.
It's insane. Neville Costigan.
Stand by my vote.
Neville Costigan, another one who made the bench. And your guy, Wayne Bartram, 26% of the bench voting, got there as well. Oh, that was close. He's just kicked that away.
Oh, that's
Or
right.
it
Still
looked
there.
close. And finally, the last bench spot, we had Sam Bacco, Dave Shillington, and Ben Teo all on 13%. Ben Teo's in the starting team, so he probably doesn't want another bench position. And it's between Sam Bacco and Dave Shillington. What do we reckon?
Sam. Slamming Sam.
I'll give it to Sam.
Yeah, me too, because I picked him. So that pretty much means almost all my team got in. I am the greatest. The movies,
Bartram.
we did skip out on the movies. You didn't put the poll up because we had the other poll going on and this, that, the other. Anything else to discuss, fellas?
No, not at all. No.
Prediction for the Lord Test? What do you think?
Oh, yeah, great
What do you
question.
think? What do you think?
So looking at the score now, we'll probably bat for 3 days, I would have thought. Warner's scoring around 500 to 600. Kawaja, he'll just tie up another end, maybe 30 or 40 by the end of that 3 days.
I think it's a funny test because I think their first innings, they're going to be batting when the wicket's at its best. But the last second innings will be batting in reasonable conditions, and then they'll still have tough conditions at the end of the game. So it's...
I think the trauma of the last however many series over there makes me think that we will do all right until I go to bed, and then I'll wake up in the morning and there'll be some level of collapse there. But
That's always the hardest part about this.
I know, I hate
Wake
waking
up and
up.
the first
Yeah,
thing to
crick
info.
And I always slide my hand in slowly. So I see how many wickets first.
what?
But having said that, the fact we have got through this first hour without a wicket,
Well, that's a good start.
That's been our biggest downfall for so long, is losing those early wickets and in clumps as well. So, odds are maybe Labuschagne and Smith don't fail
I'm
again.
interested to see
for us to win a test
what they do this test.
on the back of...
Yeah, they both essentially didn't do anything in the last game. Even Travis Head, who got 50 in the first innings, and that was it. But
it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't a spectacle. It wasn't one of the Travis Head 50s.
no,
was it? It
no.
was
So the three, but particularly Marnus and Smith, I'm really interested to see. I think they're keen to get out there and make up for the first game. So.
Yeah. Well, as far as starts go, this is as good
Great
as it gets
start,
for us. So we'll probably sit down and watch
Go,
the
Paddy.
rest of this
Go, Paddy.
session. Yeah, I know we're talking about his son. Or go to bed, Paddy. All right, fellas. Once again, always a
Episode
pleasure.
13.
In
Well
the
done.
bank, yes.
Thanks, fellas.
All right, everyone. Remember, keep tipping, keep drinking. Pew pew pew.